Hello and welcome to today's video as we're going to cover domestic dominance based on stats because that's what this channel does. So part of my Hall of Fame deal that I do once a year is accruing all these points and things from a player's career. Part of that is All-Pro based on stats that I do myself. If you're first team in your region, it's 3 points, 2 points for second team, 3 points for first team, additionally to other stats and accomplishments during the season. Now, on here are the best players from the 2016 through 2024 season, all pro-wise based on stats. So it's individual splits. It's not the entirety of 2016 through 2024 and then compared. It's literally split by split. So just something to think about. Also, which one of these teams is the best, of each region domestically. So, North America, we had 23 different top laners get at least 1 point in this, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9 seasons. Someday had the most points, followed by Hooney, and then it was a three-way tie between Haunser, Fudge, and Bwippo. Which is interesting, right? Because you'll say, well, Bwippo's barely played in the LCS. He's done well statistically when he has played. And then you'll say, where's Impact? Impact never has been a statistically strong player. Impact provides in other areas, but stats is not one of them. Junglers, Blabber has 30 points, which is the most out of anybody in North America. So in terms of stat-wise, Blabber is the most dominant player in North America during this period of time within their role. He's followed by Santorin and then Dardoch, interestingly enough. Mid lane, Jensen and PoE, both statistically the strongest, then Bjergsen. Bjerg, of course, getting all those titles, but Jensen went to Worlds every year, did he not? He's had a great career. And PoE, he's still kicking around in ERLs, but he was very underrated. 20 mid laners had a point, 19 junglers. Bot lane, Doublelift, very dominant, 24 points. Actually, the biggest difference between first and second occurred in the AD carry role. 23 different AD carries had at least 1 point and went DL, then Cody's son. Wild Turtle and FBI were tied for third. Support, we had 22 different players get a point. Core JJ was first, followed by Huhi and Vulcan. I think looking at these, teams, if you will, Someday, Blabber, Jensen, Doublelift, Core is definitely the best. Because you think about Hooney, Santorin, PoE, Cody's son, Huhi. That team isn't really making me feel a certain type of way. Then even if you go with like a Bwippo, Dardoch, Bjergsen, Wild Turtle, Vulcan, I think that team's definitely second best. Europe, Cabochard had a great career in the top lane, although, you think about his KC days last season and it rubs you the wrong way, but earlier on in his career, statistically, he was actually pretty good. 24 different top laners had a point, followed by Wonder and then Broken Blade. Maybe tomorrow, depending on how this video goes, I may do a video where I combine all the players together and look at, those that played in multiple regions, how they did dominance-wise, because I know BB had at least 1 point in the LCS. Jungle, Yankos, followed by Yike and Selfmade. So, Selfmade hasn't played for a couple of years, but statistically very strong when he did play. Yike, statistically strong off the rip. 22 different junglers had a point. Mid lane, which is where things get sus. So, stats only tell us one part of the story. We know Caps is an excellent player, but statistically, from split to split, he isn't always the most dominant. And in the playoffs, he shows up. At Worlds, he shows up. And he just kind of can do anything. So I can acknowledge Caps is obviously better than stats indicate. A lot of people think, I'm not willing to do that. There are players that I make exceptions for, but they earn that usually in playoffs and international stage where they show, hey, yeah, stats mean nothing to this player. This player is beyond the stats. So Larson, statistically, has been the best during this window of time. followed by Perks, then Humanoid and Bethio. AD carry Upset and Reckless, followed by Hansama, and then support Mikyx, Trimby, and Ignar. When Ignar plays in the LEC, statistically, he's been pretty good. So, in terms of who maybe makes the best team, I think it's quite competitive, to really think about. Because a team of Cabo, Yankos, Larson, Upset, Mickey doesn't sound as good as a team like Wonder, Yike, Perks, Reckless, and Trimby. I think that second team is better. Third team of Broken Blade, Self-Made, Humanoid, Hans, and Ignar. I don't think that team's better than the first team. So I think the Wonder, Yike, Perk squad with Reckless is the best of those three. Korea, Keen, not a big shock. Statistically, he's always very excellent. Followed by Smeb and Nuguri. Yes, Smeb had a lot of all-pro points, even in the second half of his career. And Nuguri barely played at all, so 19 top laners had a point. Jungle, Peanut Canyon owner. Mid lane, Chovy, with the most out of anybody in the LCK during this window, followed by Faker and Showmaker. Only 16 mid laners had a point. This goes to show you, not as diverse of a mid lane pool in terms of who was getting the best stats. The top guys were the top guys the majority of the time. Of course, Faker. I'm not saying that Chovy's better than Faker. Chovy's just statistically, Chovy is a stat god, so that is what it is. 80 carry, aiming Teddy Ruler. Aiming statistically I think all but 2 splits of his career, he grades out as a top 3 80 carry in LCK or LPL. LPL, I think he was first team or something in 2020. This is what it is. Teddy, always very underrated player. And then Ruler. Ruler had obviously a great career. He's been one of the best 80 carries of all time. One of the best 80 carries in the world right now. And in the LPL, I'm sure he got all pro points if I really think about it. Support Carrier, Tucson, and Lahens. Probably didn't think you'd see a Tucson call out in this video. So, first team would be Keen, Peanut, Chovy, Aiming, Carrier. Second team, Smeb, Canyon, Faker, Teddy, Tucson. Like that bot lane kind of struggles, but you could argue you have the best in role all time in top, jungle, and mid on second team. And Smeb, Canyon, Faker. But then Teddy and Tucson. That's something to think about. Third team, Nuguri, Owner, Showmaker, Ruler, Lahens. So you get the bot lane duo back together. Showmaker now isn't what he once was, but if you think about when he got these all-pro points, being one of the best mids in the LCK and the world, it's definitely something to think about. And also you got to think about this in terms of their primes as well. So that's the thing. I think that second team, that top side's too good to ignore, right? You have literally the best players of all time in their roles. It's not to say Keen, Peanut, and Chovy are bad, because those three are probably a better top side. Yeah, Nuguri's obviously strong, but Chovy is pretty good too. So, China. Flandre, statistically great. Followed by Breathe, and then Bin, Zaitai, and Zhao. We're going to go with Bin on that one. So Bin, statistically not always crazy. Keep in mind, China, we don't get as many stats as we do for the other 3 regions for the majority of this time span. Kanavi dominating the jungle with 23 points. 27 different junglers had at least 1 point in the LPL during this time. And when Kanavi, then Ning. After that, it was a tie between Kandi, Meteor, and Shun. Mid lane, Knight, Scout, Duenby. Rookie, obviously, very good earlier than even 2016. I think he was 4th, but if you take into account looking back at all pros before that, he would have been up there. And only 17 different mids actually had a point. 80 carry, Uzi, Mystic, Gala. Support, Mako, 29 points, was the most dominant in China, followed by Missing and Lamau. So in terms of first team for China, it would be Flandre, Kanavi, Knight, Uzi, Mako. I mean, that team's obviously disgusting. Top side. I mean, I guess you have a little bit, you have some issue there, but I mean, Uzi Mako, that's like, I mean, I guess we kind of saw that, but no, we didn't. No, we didn't. Uzi, I'm trying to think, mixing my years up. If Uzi played 2023, yes, he did 2023 with Mako. But Knight, of course, in mid. I mean, that's scary in and of itself. Second team, Breathe, Ning, Scout, Mystic, missing. I would say that team, Ning, is not the greatest player at all. So, alongside Breathe, that top side definitely not disgusting. Then you have maybe like Bin, Shun, Duanby, Gala, and Lamau. Um, I mean, pairing Bin and Duanby is a good combination, theoretically. Ben being carry oriented, Duanby being more facilitator alongside Shun or Meteor. They could be freed up to do whatever the hell they want. And Gala, of course, a very, very good AD carry, but then Lamau kind of fits his nose in there, and you wonder how that would go. So maybe it is that first team that just takes it. But just an interesting video going over some great players and who were statistically dominant, and then throwing in some in there that maybe you are not thinking about because you're like, oh, well, wins and losses. But wins and losses are only part of, a situation. Those are team stats. What did the players do? And, some get overlooked. And I feel like this video will highlight those that were, underrated during their time. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.